the rarest of rare cases, and the guilty, if found guilty, must suffer the maximum punishment.
Finally, let's talk a little about the Congress party. The opinion polls uniformly seem to suggest that you're heading towards your worst electoral performance ever. In fact, India Today, the magazine, claims that your own internal polls are showing that you're going to end up in double digits. Will you today, as a leading Congress politician, accept that it looks almost certain as if the Congress party will not retain power?
All that I know is, I have the India Today poll of 2004, since you mentioned India Today. I have the India Today poll of 2009. In both polls, please go back and verify. India Today predicted that in 2004, Mr. Vajpayee will return to power, and in 2009, Dr. Manmohan Singh's government will not return to power.
Except, Mr. Chidambaram, I wasn't talking of an India Today poll. I was saying India Today has revealed or claims that your internal polls, Congress party internal polls, are showing you're just going to get double-digit figures.
I'm not privy to any internal polls, so I can't answer.
Let me put it like this. Even if you won't accept that it looks increasingly likely you're not going to retain power, will you at least accept this, that you go into the elections clearly as the underdog?
But you are taking words out of my mouth. I would rather go into an election as an underdog than on a triumphal note.
But that's not an answer to my question.
Again, you're not allowing me to complete the answer. I said it in Davos, I've said it here. I would rather go into an election as an underdog rather than on a triumphal note, because I know, again, you're not allowing me to complete.
I'm not interrupting.
No, you shouldn't make those gestures either. I don't make gestures at you. I know what happened to parties which went into an election on a triumphal note in 2004 and 2009.
Can I put this to you?
Yeah.
I know you'd rather go in as an underdog. That's very different to admitting that you are going in as an underdog, and I'm asking you to admit to the second.
Why should I admit to anything I don't know?
All right. Let me put it like this. For many people, the election that's about to happen is perceived as a battle between Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi, and after his Times Now interview, people say that Rahul Gandhi simply hasn't got the capacity to fight a man like Modi. Is that perception a problem for Congress?
Well, I don't think that that is a perception shared by all. And secondly, the answer to that is what you told me before the start of this interview, that the only interview Mr. Narendra Modi gave was to you 5 years ago, and he walked out of it abruptly in 2.5 minutes. What does that tell about that person?
Except that, as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, he seems to have convinced people by his behavior and his performance at that interview that he lacks both the intellectual capacity to be Prime Minister as well as the honesty to answer questions fully. And therefore, he dismayed not just his critics, but his admirers and supporters.
Well, I don't agree. I don't agree. That's your view. That's your view. I don't have to answer. That's not a question. That's a view of yours.
Okay, let me put it like this. Given that many people are dismayed, disappointed, even dejected by that interview, how should Rahul Gandhi handle the poor impression that interview has created? Because that's something, as a politician, I presume he needs to tackle.
Well, I'm not advising him on these matters, but what I know of him is that he's not dogmatic. He doesn't believe he has all the answers. He's well-read. He's well-informed. He's willing to learn. He's willing to listen. And I think those are good qualities that I would look for in a young leader.
You know, at the time he did the Times Now interview, the Congress party was letting it be known that he would do several more. Since then, almost a month has lapsed, but he seems to have retreated into a shell.
I don't know.
Let me finish. Is it wise for him to retreat into a shell just because one interview went badly? Should he not instead be out there battling to change the impression of that one interview?
See, these are questions you should put to him. I can't answer on his behalf.
But you're a leading member of his party. You have an opinion.
There are several leading members in this party. I'm perhaps one of the least leading members of the party. These are not, you should ask me my views.
I am asking you your views. I'm asking you your views of how Rahul Gandhi should behave.
I don't need to take a view on that. You should ask him and he will give you the view.
I'll tell you why you should have a view on that, because he's the vice president of your party. He could be the prime minister whenever Congress returns to power. So aren't you concerned about a bad image that he gets?
Why should I have a view? I don't know whether he promised more interviews. I don't know what his schedule is. I don't have to have a view on that.
All right.
I have to have a view on policies, programs, issues. I have to have a view on those
Two
things.
last questions before I end this interview. given that it's clear to everyone, and although Congress hasn't publicly accepted it, internally I'm sure they have, that whenever Congress returns to power, Rahul Gandhi will be Prime Minister. Should he therefore have served in the Manmohan Singh cabinet to gain valuable experience of governance?
But that's a point of view. I can't say that's not a legitimate point of view. But we've had examples of people being appointed Prime Minister without having served in a cabinet. We've had examples of people being appointed Chief Minister without serving in the cabinet. So I don't think that's a necessary pre-qualification. But if the circumstances had been different and he had served as a member of the cabinet, that certainly would have been useful.
Last question. Given that the election that's going to happen in April, May looks so critical for the Congress party, do you think Priyanka Gandhi should play a more significant role to change the public perception of the Congress party at this critical juncture?
Again, I can't speak for others.
No, speak for yourself.
No, I can't have a view on those matters. Each one is a person, each one has a family, each one has a life, each one has certain goals. It's for that person to decide what role they will play, if at all, in politics, how much time they will spend.
Would you like her to play a greater role as a Congress person who realizes that there's a very substantial odds that you have to battle against? Would you like her to play a role?
I don't accept the second part of your assumption. But if Priyanka wants to play a role, I'll be quite happy.
You won't encourage her or request it of her?
I'm not their advisor. Please understand. I'm just a member of the government and a member of the party. I don't advise them. Maybe you advise a lot of politicians.
My last question. Do you believe that Narendra Modi, if he becomes Prime Minister, would be bad for India for reasons beyond just party politics, reasons with which you can perhaps convince an audience?
Yeah, I've tried. I've said it in many statements. I think the undercurrent of Narendra Modi's political philosophy is majoritarianism. Another streak which I notice from his speeches is I, me, mine. Look at his speeches. Give me power, I'll give you Swaraj. Give me power, I'll give you 24/7 electricity. Give me power, I will get the black money and give you a share of it. And today in Parliament, a member of Parliament, I won't name him, made the astounding statement. A Narendra Modi government will give 28,000 crore to Bengal, will give an equally big package to Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. And then somebody said, what about Bihar? And he said, we will give an equally big package to Bihar.
So that's either irresponsible or dictatorial.
Are they serious? See, we are running a parliamentary democracy where the Prime Minister or the Chief Minister is, I agree, more than first among equals, but it is teamwork. People have to pull together. You will have to reconcile different strands of thought and views and policies.
And Modi, you're suggesting, will bulldoze his way?
I don't think. I've heard about the way he runs the Gujarat cabinet. I think that will be a disaster to run an Indian cabinet. And I don't think any one person in this complex world of government, and the world is not as simple as people think it was in the 50s and 60s. The world is a complex world. I don't think anybody can run India on the principle of majoritarianism or on the theme of I, me and mine.
All right, Mr. Chidambaram, let's leave it there. A pleasure talking to you.